Right, so today we have a client consultation, and the dogs that we're going to go and meet are actually, when she sent me the pictures, I was like, they look like miniature golden retrievers. They look like miniature golden retrievers, but they also look like spaniels. So I'm like, are they a mix? The golden retriever, like spaniels of some sort, look more like springers than anything else. And she said they are golden retrievers slash Cumber spaniels. Now, I've seen pictures of Cumber spaniels, but I've never seen a Cumber spaniel. Really like stocky dogs. Anyway, basically, I went to meet these dogs. When I go and meet these dogs, I imagine that they're gonna, like, they're not heavily bred in working line and stuff like that, and the golden retrievers are quite plastic. So I imagine that they're going to be quite nice, hopefully quite decent. And it is for 2 females, which is ideal for me because I've got quite a lot of boys in our groups. I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boys in this group, 2 of them being entires, 3 neutered. So I didn't really want to take on any more boys, but she messaged me asking me for these young golden retriever mixes, both neutered females, both rescues. So yeah, like I say, she gave me a bit of information. You know, the recall to a whistle, they are quite strong pullers, so you know, there's something still working on. They are just over a year old. So she's given me a bit of information and stuff to go on, but you know, we'll do more assessments and trial runs when the time comes to it. What? Yeah, but I thought this would be a good opportunity to sort of share, you know, what I'll do in a consultation when I first get like the messages, and just sort of give you an insight into, you know, sort of how I go about the process really. You know, so she messaged me asking for prices. Do I cover the area? Have I got space for 2 dogs and this and other? So obviously I need to know a little bit more. So these are the first things that I need to know about before I even go and meet the dog really. First thing I want to know is, obviously, if they haven't told me already, breed and type. Just so I can get an idea of what we're going to be working with. I want to know whether or not they're neutered or spayed, because obviously putting entire males with entire males or unspayed females is always tricky, so having that information beforehand is always ideal. You know, temperament and background as well. I'd like to know, have they had any issues with dogs, any altercations with people? Is there anything I should be aware of? Because if they are going to sound like they're going to be problematic, then I don't really want to be going and meeting these dogs. I know that sounds, but from a business and a grouping standpoint, you know, I can't really be putting dogs that are going to be really hard work with others in groups. So yeah. Next thing I want to know is sort of training. What sort of training ability have they had? Have they had any training? Because if they say to me, oh yeah, they can't come off lead, the recall's poor, they're terrible on lead, you know, all this, that and other, they've basically got no training, then unfortunately that's not something that I'll be able to accommodate for, because most of my walks are off lead, and you know, you just don't want to add extra stress and hassle. So, you know, I ask for how well they train, but be aware of this because people will tell you that their dog is well trained and they can do this, that and other, and they're great off lead, and they'll probably just say that so that you'll take them on because they need a dog walker. So this is why we do a 2-week trial. You know, they're sort of the main things that I'll ask in the messages prior to going and actually doing the meet and greet. It just gives me a good idea what we're looking for. We're looking for the sex, whether or not they're neutered or spayed, whether or not they've been trained, how they are with others, the temperament, you know, just things like this. These are all things that I need to know before even going and do a meet and greet to do a proper assessment. Then during the meet and greet, I'll ask them, you know, have you got any questions that you want to ask me? How do we do things? And then I'll start asking them questions, and I'll be sort of like, you know, what are they like on lead? Again, I will ask what they like training wise, because it's easy to get a good read on people when you're actually there with them, because then they might start going, well, actually, because, you know, they don't want to lie to your face, hopefully. So I'll ask them sort of questions, and then I'll ask sort of things like, where do you want the dogs keeping when we come back? Can't always guarantee that these guys are going to be 100% dry because of where we come. You know, puddles, bogs. I always try to clean them off and a towel dry them and, you know, everything, but I can never guarantee that they're always going to be 100% pristine. So I need to know exactly where they want them leaving upon return. Are we having keys? Are we having key codes? things like this. And I obviously state the price again when I'm in my consultation, and I'll state that we do it fortnightly. We do fortnightly invoicing and things like this. And then I'll ask them to just give me as much information on the dog as possible. Like, did you rescue it? Did you get it from pup? What's it been through? What's it like? Has it had any bad experiences? Has it had any quirks that I should be aware of? You know, is it a chewer? Is it gonna, do you know, all just as much information as absolutely possible. And then once I've done that, I'll have a chat with them and I'll say, you know, yeah, I use my own leads, I use my own towels and things like this. Are you happy for them to be walked on a slip lead? Because that's typically what I use. Stuff like that. I tell them that I usually put recall on a whistle. So, you know, are you bothered if I change the pitch or the tone or the pips? Most people haven't done whistle training anyway. I try to cover just as much area and as much bases as absolutely possible. And then one of the biggies is I say, we'll do a 2-week trial. You know, we put these dogs in 2 weeks. I'll take them out however many times they want, go in a week, and put them on 2 weeks. It's a good enough time to sort of get a really good idea for the behaviours, temperaments, and how they're going to interact with other dogs, whether or not they're going to be a problem or issue. It gives them time to settle, get used to me as well. So yeah, 2-week trial, and I just sort of explain, I said, look, if they're not really fitting in with groups and they are being a handful, then, you know, I said, we might call it a do after the 2-week trial. I've never had to do that as of yet, because I try and do a really good assessment prior to the 2-week trial to make sure they are going to somewhat fit in and we can work with them. But if they're going to be an absolute nightmare, then we tend not to take them on, because it just ruins the dynamic. It ruins the mood for these other guys. It can just upset things, and we don't want to do that to existing clients and existing dogs just by taking on another dog. So we explain that we do a 2-week trial. I also explain, regardless of how well they tell me that they are off lead and how well trained they are, I always put the dogs on a long line. I mean, I've been doing this long enough now that when I get a certain dog, and you can just sort of tell that they're just going to be all right off lead, they're just going to follow you around if you give them a liver sausage. So, you know, once you've done it long enough, it's easier to sort of come to get a really good understanding of what dog's going to act like what. But for the most part, I do tell them that I'm going to put them on a long line. We'll trial them and see how they get on. I'll let that long line trail. If they're recalling well and they're playing well and, you know, they're engaging with me and they're listening and not going to be a problem, then we'll start letting them off lead and trialing them and see how we go. So we just take baby steps to get it there, because you don't know what that dog's going to be like. If you get it up here, you know, in the moors, and it's only ever been to a park, as soon as it hits these smells where there's been, you know, deer, pheasant, mice, you know, all sorts of different little critters, you know, that recall and stuff can go out the window, and you need to be able to make sure that they're still going to listen under a new environment and a new person. They might be spooked by me, they might not be happy with me, my tone of voice, my posture, you never know. So we start on a long line. If they're engaging well, then they come off, and that sort of thing all gets explained in the consultation. And then so we just ask them as much questions, we have a good chat, I try to get a good feel for the dogs and the people. And then once we've gone through most of that and all of that, because they're the things that I find that come up the most, and the most important things and the most common things to get sorted, I'd say, look, I said, if you're happy with everything, you're happy with me, and you want me to take out the dogs and stuff like that, all that's left to do is send over the contracts and we get them signed. And then we do the necessary stuff, setting up the WhatsApp groups, ready for the walks ahead. Yeah, so that's that. So like I say, we've got the meet and greet to do, and we'll see how they get on. They look absolutely bonny, they look gorgeous. They are quite young apparently, though, just over a year, so still got to hit adolescence yet, so there could be challenges ahead. But yeah, I'm taking them out, as far as I'm aware, if we'll confirm all this, you know, we'll be doing Monday and Thursday next week, so I will keep the progress updated and see how we get on and introduce them to everybody. So that is it for this one, guys. Just a quick update in the life of a bloody dog walker. And yeah, I will update part 2 to this. I'll either tag you on to the end of this, or we'll do a completely new video, probably a new video. But yeah, we'll see you all guys in the next one.